Hello again, I am Blunty. Now, for you regulars around my channel here, you may very well already be aware that my HDMI capture card of choice for when it comes to recording console gameplay and the like is the Elgato HD60 PRO, which is sitting in that machine right there, even though you can't really see it because it's kind of a very small card and it's buried underneath the monster 980 Ti I've got in there from Gigabyte. But anyway, it's brilliant. You can go watch my full review. Where I'll put the window there. Get watching my full review of it right there if you haven't already been familiarized with it. But as the title may already have spoiled for you, this video is not about that. This video is about this. This is the Elgato HD60 S, their new version of their external capture device. So for those of you who prefer the convenience of moving your capture device to various different machines rather than having it sort of built into just one machine back there, or maybe you use a gaming laptop and you don't have a PCI Express slot to plug it into, or you want to use a Mac, for example. There are lots of different reasons you may want to opt for an external capture device, and that's what this is. This has a lot of the advantages and new features that the HD60 PRO has. A couple of compromises because it's external, but by and large, it is just promising. Very, very promising. I haven't tried it yet, so I can't say it's fantastic because I don't know. Should be fantastic from all I know. It'll do 1080p 60 frames per second, just like its internally mounted sibling there, but its main upgrade feature from the old external version is now it has USB 3.0, which gives it much more data rate to squirt through to the computer, which means it can now do the trick that was introduced with this one that I love so much, which is instant game view. So the image you're seeing in your capture software or your streaming software, or both, is virtually lagless compared to what's being squirted out to your TV from the consoles. And we'll have a bit of a squiz at just how lagless it actually is a little bit later on in this video, but for now, we should pull that out of the box and have a look at the hardware. Now, it's worth noting that this isn't actually the final retail box. There's probably going to be a slipcover on it. This is just how it arrived, and I think someone's been at it before I did, but let's have a look anyway. So we flip it open. There's the device. Let's have a quick look at that. So it looks very much like the original HD60 external version. In fact, more or less identical, I think. We've got HDMI out right there. On the other side, we've got the HDMI in, so I've got the complete pass-through end-to-end there. That's a USB 3 C-type connection, the reversible type connection, but the other end should be, we'll have a look at the cables in a second, the other end should be a regular USB 3.0 socket, so you won't have to have a brand new motherboard with the C-type socket on to use it. And we've got an audio input there. I don't know yet whether that will just support a direct microphone input or that's just for a regular analog audio. You can also see there, this is the Day Zero edition. They've sent out to various people in the press and YouTubers and stuff, presumably. Mine is 382 of 500, so collector's edition or something. But yeah, nice, light, small, unassuming, feels tough, nicely put together. Good. So, what else have we got? We've got a little instruction booklet there, don't need that, some instructions. They've given me a USB, sorry, no, not USB, HDMI cable. Hooray, HDMI cable. Like I don't have 11 billion of those already, but, just in case you don't have 11 billion like me, they give you one. Excellent. And this should be the USB cable, if I'm not horribly mistaken. So there we are. It feels like a good cable too. Nice soft rubbery thing. It doesn't feel like it's going to get tangled. That's the USB-C and standard USB on the other end. So all very straightforward. Now, a couple of things to mention. Unlike the PCIe version, the HD60 PRO, which goes internally in a computer, this has a few restrictions on it because obviously USB 3 is not as fast or as powerful as a proper PCIe connection internally on a motherboard. But advantage being, you can use this with laptops or machines where you don't want to mount an internal card. You can use it with Macs. I don't know whether the Mac software is ready yet, but they say it's coming real soon, so hold your breath for that. Couple of the other things. The maximum bitrate is 40 megabits per second. For the video, as opposed to 60 megabits per second on the HD60 PRO. Again, that's a restriction of just how much data can be squirted across USB 3.0. But 40 megabits per second for a 1080p 60 frames per second video is still plenty to give you a really lovely crisp image. And we'll check that out in just a minute. We'll plug it in and give it a quick go. The other difference between this and the internally mounted HD60 PRO, the other big difference is the master copy thing. You may remember the feature where I flipped out where you can record a master copy and a stream copy. So you can stream it sort of 1 bit rate to make it nice and easy to stream, and then you can record a separate master copy at a higher bit rate and clean of any overlays and webcams and stuff like that. So you just get the pure game recorded in a separate file, and you can stream with all the overlays and stuff on it, which makes it really, really handy. This cannot do that as the external version. Again, it's a matter of just the amount of data that can be squirted across here, and because this is external, the PC is doing a little bit of extra work as opposed to the HD60 Pro, which is mounted in the PC on a PCI Express slot. That does sort of some of its own work. So a couple of compromises you make for the convenience of having an external device. You can move from machine to machine to machine, use it on laptops and stuff. So yeah, a couple of small compromises which may or may not even affect some of you out there, but that's the main difference that you're looking at between, you know, the 60S and the 60 Pro. So I think that's all I need to tell you about the hardware itself. Let's plug it in and give it a quick go and see how it goes. So, first impressions when it comes to the recording, well, it's precisely as unexpected actually. It's very clean, very smooth, and I'll show you a better example in a moment, but the extremely low latency this new version promises is delivered perfectly. In fact, every game you're going to see demoed here, I played and recorded with me playing the game off the Game Capture's feed itself. And between an arcadey racing game on my iPhone and Resogun here on the PS4, both of which demand fast twitch input, if there was any significant lag at all, it'd render these games unplayable. But as you can see for yourself, I'm doing just fine. And despite what YouTube may end up doing to this video, I can tell you that the source files which are produced are lovely and crisp and free of nasty compression artifacting, which is why I chose Resogun as one of my examples. Between its crisp voxel sprite graphics and the gloomy graduated clouds and rain, if there was any macro blocking issues to be seen, this is where they'd show up real clearly. Again, YouTube itself may have balked the clarity up a bit for you guys at your end, but the original files at my end, I'm telling you, they look great. And just like with the HD60 Pro, the capture software lets you either record clean gameplay or add in live commentary from whatever microphone you like, and even live mix with a selection of scenes you can preset with various custom overlays and graphics, and of course webcams, including green screen keying. And finally, to give you a direct look at the low latency capture, here is my iPhone in shot with the capture software's display feed. Now, it's not zero latency, but it is very, very, very low latency. The lag, roughly calculated here by slowing down this 60 FPS camera recording, is only about 5 or 6 frames, which won't affect gameplay should you wish to play off the capture feed for most games out there. Some, of course, it will be kind of detrimental, but it will be fine for most stuff out there, especially console games which already take into account the slight processing lag almost all TVs have from their HDMI inputs anyway. But like I said, all the gameplay you've seen in this video I played off of the capture feed, and I had no issues at all. But there you go, that is the Elgato HD60 S external HDMI capture device thingamadoodler. Pretty impressive little bit of kit. I will be putting it through its paces a little more aggressively over the next few weeks, and I'll come back with a proper full-on review / report. Hopefully by then I'll actually have the finalized retail version and box and everything in my hands as well, not just this sort of early day zero press sample. Maybe I'll even convince the guys from Elgato to let me give one away. I don't know yet. I haven't asked them. Probably shouldn't have mentioned that out loud on video. Now you'll be expecting it. Might not happen, but I'll ask. You never know. Thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and we'll catch you next time. Let me know if you're interested. You know, is this something that's up your alley? Let me know. And also let me know what other questions you have, because, like I said, I'll be doing a follow-up video on it, so now's the time to ask any specific questions about, you know, specific use cases and setups that you may have. Did I do the sign-off thing already? I think I did. We can just fade to black now.